Thank you, Brother Paul. Good morning, everyone. So at this time, I would like to invite our worthy state advocate, Greg Dzorik, to give his report on the safe environment and legal affairs, plus mention of the McGivney Guild. So, Brother worthy state advocate Greg.
Thank you, worthy State Deputy Joe. You can find my report on page 68 in the booklet. A few things to follow along with initially. As you can see, we're lagging pretty badly in our numbers. We have only 13 councils fully compliant and only 21 councils that have filled all 4 positions. It's pretty easy to see why. We have 56 councils not reporting their Form 185 and 100 councils that have not submitted their 365. So Supreme uses the Form 365 to find out who the directors are and to send out the email request for you to do your training. So if they don't have this information, they can't get you the email, the link, and you can't complete your training and be compliant. So I'm just asking DDs to follow up with your councils, look at your compliance report in Officers Online and start contacting them to get those filled out. Similarly, is if they don't complete this training within 45 days, Supreme actually removes them from those positions, with the exception of the Grand Night. So a 365 must be resubmitted with updated information. It creates a lot of work all around, and for the good of our order and protection of youth and our members, all councils need to be compliant, over and above the Star Council requirements, of course. So adding to that, we got some new information this week from Supreme. Presidium is going to move to a new platform on April 1st of 2021. Email addresses will now be mandatory for every member, and having an email address will count towards compliance for your fraternal year 2020 and 2021. So there had been talk, like you can still right now use the book. You can call the Office Youth Protection or email them, and they will send out a booklet to complete the training. But on April 1st, that is going to be gone. That will not even be an option. So everybody will be required to complete training online after April 1st. There had been some talk about possibility of getting together in a group setting to complete training. This is, they will not allow this. It's not permitted because it doesn't allow for accountability in the member completing the program on their own. It's, I guess for lack of a better word, it makes it easy to kind of cheat and have one person complete it for several people. So DDs are going to need to go through their member status report in Officers Online and reach out to any members that don't have an email listed and assist them in adding a personal email. One of the big changes is going to be, it has to be a personal email. It can't be one like, I know some of the councils when I was a district deputy had a council email. For instance, GK Council 1545 at gmail.com. That will not be permitted anymore. So it'll have to be a personal email. So council, I know there's a lot of people that don't have email addresses or computers still. So we'll have to figure out some kind of go around for that. Whether it's asking them to get, their children's email, maybe if they have a son or daughter. But it's going to be a requirement now. sounds like they're going to change up there's going to be member status and participation reports in Officers Online, updated weekly now. A status report will show compliance of each member appointed to the various roles. If they don't complete training by the due date, they become non-compliant, as is now. Directors and counselors are automatically removed if they do not complete training by the due date. And councils will have to resubmit an updated Form 365 and restart the entire process. So like I said, it creates a lot of work for Supreme and just drags out the process. So it's important to get those forms in on time in July and August, and have this all completed by September 1st so it can hit the ground running. Once that's all done, it's again valid for 3 years. So if they fill the position the following year or two, then they don't have to do the training every year. So the participation report, it's only going to detail whether or not roles are filled. It won't tell you if they're compliant or not. And councils that have the Grand Knight holding all 4 positions, even if he has completed training and background checks, they will no longer be considered compliant now. You need at least 2 people in a council with full compliance, because the requirement is when there's events with youth, they need at least 2 compliant members attending that for the protection of the council and so forth. And this rule is in effect for this Columbian year. So in my report, it kind of outlines how many of the program roles have been filled as per the reporting. So I think it's not hard to see we have a lot of work to do. And I asked State Deputy Joe how this compares to years past, and he said, well, we actually are improving. So improvement's good, but it's still, there's a lot of room for improvement here. So we'd like to see in the next 6 to 8 weeks, it'd be nice to see all the councils, getting their compliance in line, and we can move forward. I don't know if you have anything to add, Joe?
No, just every now and then the comment is, well, I have to do this for the church, and I have to do this for my hockey team, and I have to do it for them, and I don't want to do it for the Knights. And my response is, well, you did it for your hockey team and you did it for your church. Why won't you do it for the Knights? It takes, I know when I had to redo it when I became state deputy. I had done it when I was the state advocate. It takes about an hour and a half. It's common sense. If you're a faster, I'm a slow reader. If you're a fast reader, you could probably do it even faster than that. And the answers are very common sense, very, it's just to enlighten you to be aware, and that's what the program does.
Well, and you can't even get the answers wrong, really. They give you another chance to get it right. And well, and a lot of people think they have to commit that entire hour and a half at once. So you can do one module one night and another one the next night. So spend half an hour an evening, 3 evenings, you got it done.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. I don't know if there's anything else to add to that. Starting. I will add those updated items will be added to the booklet and the electronic copy that'll go out as well. So.
Anything on the guild? Yesterday lunch kind of ran a little tight, so.
Well, as always, all Knights should be members of the guild. It's not exclusive to just members. When you sign up, you look online on the Knights website, there is actually a box to check to sign up your spouse as well. Only about 15% of Knights in the order are members. That's in line. Saskatchewan's in about that same line, and it's order wide. Joining is free, You just go on kfc.org or fathermcgivney.org and sign up there. There's actually a fantastic website dedicated to the Guild and Father McGivney. And I learned a few things even. I was looking through it this last week, and I didn't realize that only with his beatification, only 3 American priests, North American priests, have ever been beatified. And he is the only one that spent his entire priesthood in North America. The other ones came over from Europe and started doing their missionary work here. And we are one of very few orders in the Catholic Church that has our founder beatified. So I think I just keep encouraging councils to promote the Guild and promote joining it to have our founder canonized. Some of the things they can do, they can have, like we have membership drives before for members. Well, you can have a drive for the Guild. Encourage your members all to sign up, and that's all I can really add at this point to the Father McGivney Guild.
Thank you, worthy state advocate Greg. Any questions for Brother Greg on the safe environment or on the Guild?
I just had one question, worthy SD Joe. The last page of the booklet, 71, there's a chart that's MBRADD. Pardon my ignorance, but I'm not sure what that is.
Okay.
It's just past the other charts.
Yeah. So perfect timing is I'm going to we'll go to page 69. Just so people are aware, we have that's the 185 officers, that form not being reported. Page 70 is the form 365 not having been reported. And the MBR ADD on 71 are councils who have not recruited 1 new member this year. That's why those are all kind of in a row right after our state advocate report. The third one is councils who have not recruited 1 new member this year.
Okay, thanks.
And I've miscommunication, and I'm hoping to have it here by Monday or Tuesday, is council, that same list, who did not recruit last year. Because we know we have an incentive for those councils that didn't recruit last year or prior years. We also want to, the goal is to identify to our district deputies which councils, haven't been recruiting in the last couple of years. And we know as part of that council assessment, we're trying to identify councils having that we know are going to have issues. If they haven't recruited yet this year by Christmas, then we need to get on them. If they didn't recruit last year at all, that means 18 months, 24 months. That's a little bit more serious, and we have we'll be expecting issues down the line. So, but yeah, that's the reason why the forms are in the book, just to make people aware. Any other questions?
Hey, Deputy Joe, could
Yes.
I ask Greg, just clarification, did I hear you say that safe environment will permit more than a person to hold more than one position?
Yes. You can hold 2. There are a very small number of councils where the Grand Knight does everything.
Okay,
That's not allowed anymore, because
okay,
you have to have 2 compliant at an event. But you can have your Grand Knight and your program director can also be your family director and community director. Like, they can hold 2 positions
okay,
as long as they've completed training and have their background check done.
okay,
So that'll ensure compliance.
okay, thanks. And just a comment, I've had some issues with safe environment in the past, but we're all compliant. But I do have a question or a comment, I guess, with safe environment. When they want to bump someone, they can do it fairly quickly, 45 days. I received from Armitage, I guess it is, that I'm supposed to renew my safe environment, and that's all okay. But when I look at my report, it shows that I'm good till 2022, I think. So I just sent them a reply and say, am I missing something? And that was on November 23rd. So we're 2 weeks out or whatever. And I haven't had a reply yet. Yes, no, or anything. So I guess sometimes I just get concerned that we have to kind of toe the mark kind of quickly, and we don't hear back from them. So that's my comment.
Alain, if you wanted to answer that.
Yes, I will. Thank you, Worthy State Deputy. Just to get you an answer from Supreme fairly fast, you'll get one right now. One of the things that we have to remember, gentlemen, is whenever you have done your first initial course, and then you are now asked after 3 years to redo it, you have to do the refresher course and not the initial course. And sometimes that could be the hiccup. And that's why sometimes it takes longer to get back from Supreme on that. So there's 2 courses. There's the initial, and then there's a refresher. And if you need the refresher and you do the initial, you will be indicated as non-compliant.
Worthy State Deputy, I'd just like to comment on my experience with Safe Environment Office. We had our, I can't remember which director it was at Holy Spirit Council 8905. He was having issues trying to get it being certified as compliant. And when I found out, I sent off a couple of emails, and they were on top of it next day. So I have to say my experience has been pretty good. You just have to send them an email, but when you send that email, CC everybody and their dog, and it really gets done fast. Thanks very much.
Thank you. We do know that in the States, they just had Thanksgiving and they shut down for 4 days. But generally the youth office has been very quick to reply. So other departments, unfortunately, a little bit slower, but the Office of the Youth Protection has actually been very good. So
I
historically.
have a question regarding that.
Okay.
This is Keith from district number 4. So I was just curious on that. Do we finally have it so that's going through a Canadian company for the certification or for the verification process?
Alain's nodding his head yes. I'll let him answer that.
The answer to that is yes, and it always has been. It always has been done by the Cobourg Police and just outside of Toronto, or the RCMP. The only thing is when you send your forms to Supreme, it's to give them permission to get it done. So what they do is they then assign it to the RCMP to have the background checks verified, and then the RCMP or the Cobourg Police, who works jointly in this, will give one of 2 answers back to Supreme. Yes, he's okay, or no, he's not. That's it. There's no other personal information that goes back and forth over the U.S.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Worthy State Deputy Joe, I was just going to mention to everybody that in your directory, on the very last page, 54, there's a member helpline there with a number and an email. And I found that if you phone them, that you can get things done a lot sooner.
Oh, thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, I'd like to invite our 4th degree district master, Sir Knight Pat Muse, to bring greetings from the 4th degree and deliver his message.
Thank you, Worthy State Deputy Joe. Good morning, everybody. My report is on page 65 for those of you who wanted to have a read of it. The 4th degree in Saskatchewan is currently looking for my replacement. We are looking for a 4th degree Sir Knight who's willing to take over the position of master. When you're out and about with your councils, if you just pass along the word to any 4th degree knights, if anybody's interested, they should get in touch with me. I can explain what the job's about. And 6th of March is our 4th degree district assembly meeting. That's where anybody who would be interested would have to be nominated and passed on to Supreme from there. Also, I wanted to show off our website here. Let's see, can I? Okay, Joe, you're gonna have to let me share my screen here.
Okay. Multiple participants can share simultaneously. There we go.
Okay, so this is the 4th degree district website for Saskatchewan, www.sask4th.ca. So on here is a schedule of upcoming exemplifications for any member wishing to become a 4th degree knight. We are now totally virtual in the District of Saskatchewan. We have 1 degree or 1 exemplification planned for each month. The dates are here. The information is in the brochures. Feel free to download it. We have also instituted an electronic Form 4 or membership form. You can download it. The instructions are here. There's all text boxes you type in. Where the signature goes, you would put your name and membership number, and then email it to the next person down the line. So that way nobody has to sign it or pass paper around. And Supreme has approved it. We went through the Supreme Master for the 4th degree and he's approved it. So the rest of it is information on the 4th degree here on our website. That is pretty much what I had to tell you guys. It's in the report. Are there any questions?
Any questions, anyone?
Just curious, worthy Master Pat, how many 4th degree do you think have purchased a new uniform? Do you have any numbers on that?
I don't have any particular numbers. I know that there's probably 8 or 10 in Regina. There's 2 in Moose Jaw. There's a couple in Prince Albert, and there's a few in Saskatoon. Beyond that, I'm not sure. And those are just because I happen to have met the gentlemen that were wearing their 4th degree, the new 4th degree uniform. The 4th degree uniform is available through knightsgear.ca. For those interested, it is currently priced at $685 Canadian plus tax and shipping. They are in the process of renegotiating with Solvay's, who runs Knight's Gear, and should be settled by the end of the year. So sometime in January, either Solvay's will continue, or if there's anybody else bidding for it, there could be a new company providing supplies for the Knights.
Thank you, Sir Knight Pat. Any other questions of our district master? Going around. Again, I know Sir Knight Pat has to take off here for Mass at the Army base, so I do want to thank you for spending time with us this weekend. I appreciate it, and we'll.
It is an air base there, State Deputy Joe.
Oh, air base.
You
Okay,
say Army in the Air Force, you're
sorry.
gonna get killed.
Yeah, sorry.
Actually, I do have one quick question for you, worthy Sir Pat. Just the social baldric, is that the one that we've been wearing, or just because I was reading it in your report and I was just wondering, is there a new social baldric?
No, social baldric is the same one that we've had all along. It's just instead of wearing it with the tuxedo now, you wear it with a suit and tie.
Okay, thank you.
Alrighty.
Actually, Joe, I had a quick question for worthy Master Pat.
Okay.
So I'm 6'2", and like many tall people, that social baldric just doesn't fit.
There is a second size of
There is a
social
second
baldric
size we
you
can
can order for tall.
Okay,
You just have to go online there. Try knightsgear.ca under social baldric. They may have the size there. If not, call Solvay's and tell them you need the tall one, and they'll send it to you. It's works out to like $41 with shipping or something like that. It's not cheap, but I think the baldric itself is 29, and then the shipping and taxes you have to pay on top of it.
Okay, perfect.
I had, gentlemen, I had extensions put on at one of the tailor shops here in town. It was $6 for mine, so it's cheaper than, but you can get them tailored. They'll just add something to the elastic, that's all.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, last. Alrighty. Thank you very much, Sir Knight Pat, District Master Pat. We will, as with the councils and district deputies and program directors, I know we're all looking for leaders, and I did kind of recognize that in my address yesterday, but we will, we're always looking for future leaders at all levels. So if we can all keep our eyes open for a district master, possibly a past faithful navigator, or who might be interested in continuing the message of the patriotic degree in the province, that'd be nice. So we will do what we can to support you.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to pop out now. I have to go prep the church for Mass. So wish everybody a Merry and Blessed Christmas, and we'll see you all later.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Alrighty. At this point, the man who bears or doesn't need any introduction, but is still deserving of it anyways. Our Saskatchewan Charitable Foundation President, Brother Harvey Granatier, who has been dedicating for, it seems, for longer than I've been on the board. I know he's been the spokesperson for the Charitable Foundation, and I know he's traveling as much as he can promoting the foundation, and it's I know it's true to his heart, everything he's working on with the foundation. So I would invite Brother Harvey to give your message and your greetings.
Well, thank you very much, State Deputy Joe, and good morning, my brother Knights. I want to begin by thanking you for the opportunity to address you here this morning. Recently, communications are fairly difficult, and so having the opportunity to share some of our agenda for our foundation as part of your program this weekend is certainly appreciated. But before I refer to my written report, which you'll find on beginning on page 58, I'd like to take a few minutes to share some of the limitations of our foundation that have caused some confusion within our membership in the past few months. To give you a bit of history, over the past number of years, we've been able to support a number of specific purposes for things like typhoon issues in the Philippines, or catastrophic issues that arose in the US through Typhoon Katrina and others. And the way we did it was we accepted donations, we issued receipts to those donors, and then paid out the funds to either the individual or the organization in need. Again, examples included Typhoon Haiyan in the Philippines, and in 2016, we accepted donations for the Kozak family in Ituna. Unfortunately, our auditor has now advised us that we cannot issue tax receipts for any funds that are donated for a specific purpose. For example, if a council or chapter are raising funds for someone in need, either here in Saskatchewan or elsewhere in the world, we cannot accept donations and then issue tax receipts. We can donate from our contingency fund to help them out financially, but our contingency grants are paid from the earnings of the prior year's donation. We can no longer receive donations and issue receipts for that specific purpose. And I just want you as district deputies to share this with any councils that may be confused on what we had practiced in the past versus what we're able to do at this point in time. I'd now like to direct you to our my report beginning on page 58. You'll see in that report that we're very pleased that we currently have 8 young men from Saskatchewan attending the seminaries throughout Canada. We understand that the cost for each seminarian is approximately $20,000 per year, and the Saskatchewan KFC Vocation Endowment is one way that we as Knights can assist in covering the costs of training and developing these future leaders within our church. Unfortunately, COVID-19 has had a major impact on the number of people attending Sunday Mass and has had a negative result in the income for most of our parishes. As a result, when State Deputy Joe met with the bishops here a week or so ago, they requested that we do not proceed with the parish collections for the Vocation Endowment campaign traditionally scheduled in February. It doesn't mean that we're not going to do the campaign. It just means that we need to now canvass our membership for donations as opposed to going to the pulpit in each of our parishes throughout the province. We're now therefore asking each council to once again donate $25 per member from their membership in their council. So that component of it hasn't changed. And we do know that a number of councils have already been generous in their donations for this Columbian year. We have 3 that have reached their $25, including Father O'Leary, 5104 Saskatoon, Campion College Council, 15955 in Regina, and most recently, Nipawin Council, 7315. If you wish to refer to the contributions of each of the councils within the province and the corresponding contributions for your respective districts, you can see that those numbers are consistently updated on our website. So we ask you to go to our website occasionally and review the contributions that have been received already from your councils. And in most cases, we've had extremely positive responses in the past, and we hope that, that continues into the future. In terms of our grant program, I think this fits very well with the program from Supreme, Leaving No Neighbor Behind. The applications for our annual grants can be found on our website. This year, rather than having organizations submit their applications directly to the foundation, and in many cases, the local councils are not even really familiar with a lot of the application or the organizations that are applying. We are trying to encourage more involvement at the local council level. And so in each of the applications that we receive, we will be asking the applicant to either contact the council themselves or we will be doing that ourselves within our foundation. And what we're going to be asking of the individual council is that they either endorse or encourage, or even better yet, partner in providing support to these organizations that are in need of funding and have approached our foundation for dollars. There isn't a requirement that the local council participate in financially, but there will be a requirement that the local council participate in terms of endorsing. And in that sense, we're hopeful that we will get a broader group of applicants than just those that have traditionally applied each year. So when you're speaking with your councils out there, we are encouraging councils to become more engaged. One of the areas that we had excellent response last year, and we're hoping that continues this year, is in the James and Lawrence Meyer Fund. And that fund, if you recall, was established to assist in providing essential food services in various communities throughout the province. And we had that from communities like Denzel and smaller communities such as that, as well as many of the city organizations. Again, we ask you to have the councils encourage these individual organizations, or it may even be your local parish that provides food for the hungry, and have each of these apply, as we would like to provide support to as many of these organizations as possible. I've put a word in there about endowments. Endowments is an area where we currently have 13 of them in the province. This is one area where you can specify where you want your funds donated if you have a family endowment. For example, we could have, the Joe and Tracy Riffle and family endowment at some point. It means a minimum of $10,000 in total donations that have been received from that donor or from that family. And then the earnings from that endowment each year, the family has the opportunity to indicate where they want those earnings allocated. So it gives some opportunity for more involvement of our donors. And if you want anyone you feel within your group that or your councils that may be interested, have them contact any member of our board. Memorial donations is another area where we feel that it provides support to our council to our foundation, for the fact that the funds, and let me give you an example. If we have a member of Council 7315 in Nipawin that passes away, there was a resolution that was passed in 2016 that supported councils providing $100 memorial donation for that particular member, or in the name of that member. Council 7315 can send in that $100, and they can also have that $100 allocated to any endowment. So if they want that $100 placed towards vocations, then they can indicate on there, when Jerry receives the donation from 7315, he allocates it towards the vocation endowment. And the $100 the $100 is placed in vocation. And in addition, if you go to page 61, on page 61 is an example of a letter that is then forwarded to a member of the family of the individual that passed away. So on page 61, you see an example where Brad and Wanda Lefebvre provided a donation in memory of Monsignor Ken Miller. And the family of Monsignor Ken Miller would receive this notification from our foundation saying that there will be a special memorial mass in Monsignor Ken Miller's name, and that it also provides just a word of condolences on behalf of the individual that made the donation. We have received very positive responses from this, from families that have received this from their councils or from individuals. Next, contingency grants. Contingency grants are funds that we set aside to assist individuals in partnership with councils during the year. So if you have a family or if a council in your area has a family that is in need, have the council contact us and we may be able to provide financial support in partnership with the council. Next, I think we all understand that one of the strengths that we have as Knights of Columbus and as councils is in unity. And what we're trying to support is the opportunity of working together with councils when we take a look at any grants or any funding that we provide to those in need throughout the province. So in closing, and before I take questions, you'll notice that we've also included on here, and we always hope to remind our councils and our members that we would appreciate any support that we receive as a foundation. We are hoping that councils will consider us as one of their charities of choice, but more importantly, that councils will consider us as a partner, and that we'll work together to try to improve the quality of life for those less fortunate than ourselves. So State Deputy Joe, that sort of gives an overview of what I have here in writing. And if there's any questions, I'd love to entertain them.
Brother Harvey, Terry Shelley. Just in regards to the 8 seminarians, are they allocated money over a year, over a few years, or?
Okay, very good question. Okay, at the end of the year, we take the earnings that were earned on the donations from the prior year. So right now there's about $900,000 in our vocation endowment fund, but for the last year there was only about 650. So we take the earnings from that $650,000 for the course of the year, and let's say if that's $30,000, we divide that $30,000 by 8, and that is a one-time payment that is made directly to the seminarian with an understanding by their diocese or eparchy that they are getting those funds. The reason we send them direct to the seminarian is that in that way, they are also eligible for the RSVP program from Supreme. And Supreme is very supportive of this, and they're excited of the fact that we are able and will continue to become a bigger part of supporting our seminarians throughout the future. So in direct response to your question, it is once a year that it is paid, and it is the earnings from the fund for the prior year that is divided by the number of seminarians and then sent direct to each of the seminarians, and then that is then taken into consideration by eparchy or diocese that have the seminarian taking their training.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Look around. Got to get a bigger monitor so you can get everybody up on one, but it make things a little easier.
Okay, well, if there aren't any, then again, I certainly thank you for the support of the past and look forward to working together over the remainder of the Columbian year with each of you. And I also want to wish you all a very merry and blessed Christmas and a safe Christmas. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Just kind of, if there was a big room, like we don't get to applause anybody anymore, but it's given the
That's fine.
it's I know just with this past fall when the board and the foundation when we delivered the COVID North project was it was probably one of the first ones that I was a little bit more directly involved with, and I found that very rewarding and very overwhelming. It was with positivity, so it was nice to work with both boards to make that happen, because we could make such positive impacts, with around the world and within our community. So it's fantastic. At this time, I would normally be calling on past state deputy brother Bob Barkman. Unfortunately, again, his brother Greg, who's a brother knight and sir knight from Council 1247 in Regina, is in critical condition in the hospital, suffering with COVID. So he couldn't join us today, and understandably so. So I want to make sure we're passing along our prayers to him and his family at this time. And for those who are on Facebook, past state deputy Bob, he had slipped this past week shoveling and broke his wrist. So it wasn't Pat giving him the gears for not doing laundry. He slipped doing shoveling. So we want to keep our prayers for all of his family during this time, for quick healing for brother Bob, and for hopefully improved health for his brother Greg. His report, he indicated, is on page 66 in your booklet. I know we included a copy of the Canadian menu for December. I'm going to bring it up, and if Really Supreme Alain, if you wanted, I'll give you 2 minutes to give a quick plug on the Canadian menu. Hopefully it will show up. But hopefully everyone has seen these, because I know we've been trying to email them to everyone. We have English sessions. I am very aware we have French councils in Saskatchewan, and so there's no excuse why they're not taking the training session. And these men are not like me trying to speak French. These are educated men who speak fluent French. But there are various topics by various trainers. For those who have seen Sean Vetters in person, he's a very good speaker. We have Alain, Wayne, Dennis. Denis Bélanger, I have not had the opportunity to meet him, but these are all good presenters, and they are go-to meetings, so they're interactive. I think there's a couple that are webinars, but I still believe they're interactive one form or another. Alain, if you wanted to pop in at any time, that'd be, if you can. Oh, we got the bear back. I don't know how to unmute your phone line one. I'm trying to unmute. I'm asking you to unmute. We try. Not there. Won't let me unmute. Ask to unmute. Okay. You've all seen the screen. There we go. But I do know, just to, if we could figure that, Ontario is really not that far away. It just seems like it's hop, skip, and a jump. I do know, just to, if we have the Supreme webinars, I had it up on the screen there. But also there are, that's a monthly calendar session, and there'll be different information in January. And generally speaking, I know Supreme is trying to, at the beginning, they just had a whole pile of information. I realized it was overwhelming. And over time, they're trying to have repeatable sessions, and these sessions are being recorded. So if you can't attend on the Wednesday night course, you can watch the recording of it in the future. So you can, it won't be interactive at that point, but you can always learn about it. I believe you're there. Alain?
I am back.
Nice
I had to
see
go and jump through hoops. I'm not going to put this back on mute, I guess.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if I missed anything while I was trying to reconnect. But basically, the menu is a great opportunity, gentlemen, to give you a training right from your home, and it can be given on different dates. And that's why we called it the menu, because it wasn't set in time. Like, it's not every Monday. So there was some training during the day when it's convenient for some. There's some training at nighttime where it was convenient for others. The time was also a factor for nighttime. As you can see, I've had some requests from some of the Maritimes provinces saying, why would you put a training at 10 o'clock Eastern time? That's 11 o'clock our time. I said, well, that's for the Western brothers. So basically, it gives an opportunity for everyone to have an opportunity to come for training. And that's why some trainings, as you can see, they repeat themselves during the month. Obviously, we do recognize that sometimes, you may want to see a training and it comes through 3 times during the month, and the 3 times it's always during the day. It's not done on purpose. It's basically, we have to try to help follow some of our trainers' schedules. So, they're booking their own time in there, and we're trying to respect that at the same time. One of the good features that you'll see at the bottom that's on the screen from Brother Joe is the success stories. It's in pinkish at the bottom. There's a November 14th in English. There's a November 7th in French. And basically, these will always remain on the menu. It is a live recording of the 2 sessions for now. We'll be having some more about all of the activities, the programs that councils have been doing in Canada and being recognized by them submitting to us their program, and then through our we have a grid that we evaluate the program, and then we choose the more relevant ones to come on that 1 hour kind of show. And all of you are also welcome to come and attend it whenever it's live. But then further is those links will always be on the menu. So in 6 months, you get a new member and he becomes an officer and he sees the menu. He can then go back and review all of the success story recordings, which is important. And one of the things that is just being worked up right now is the fraternal benefit nights. We talked a little bit about it yesterday with our general agent, Brother Mark, but on January 5th and 7th now, I'm going to try to see here. I think the 7th is in English and the 5th is in French. We're going to have, I'm going to have a webinar, and we're going to have Sunny Sanjimino, who is kind of the general agent that oversees all of Canada. And so for the agencies, that is. And we'll do an English session. And then with Mark Mador, who is working in the Eastern Canada, he will help me to do the French one. And we will then put those links permanently on the menu as well. So that way council have any questions on how to organize it, what is needed, what form to fill in, they can get all that information on that recorded webinars, because we know the general agents are pretty busy, but they are giving us each a night in French and English to be able to record those webinars. I think that's about it, Brother Joe. If there's any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them.
Any questions for Supreme Brother Alain on the webinars and the training? Looking back and forth. again, I know Saskatchewan hasn't been the, knocking out a couple of people. I know I've heard of the odd one-on-one session where people have called in and they're the only guy on the training with the Supreme Rep, and it's nice to learn in a group session, but at the same time, how often you get a one-on-one opportunity to learn, you get all your questions asked, and take advantage of those times. Brother John?
Well, you had made mention that these go-to meeting webinars are repeatable or are recorded. Is that the case, Alain? Or is it a case that they're just repeated frequently enough such that you could tune in the next month? I just want a clarification about that. Are they actually recorded, the go-to meetings?
The go-to meetings are not recorded. The only thing that will be recorded are the success stories that we do we're trying to do one success story day once a month, but we don't have enough councils giving us activities that they're doing to fulfill that need, right? So right now we're building kind of a bank of programs, and so most likely in January there will be one in English. We won't have enough in French yet, but there'll be one in English for sure, almost for sure in January. Though that one is recorded. The only one that will be recorded will be the night that I will be recording it with the fraternal benefit nights with the 2 GAs. Those will be recorded as well. All of the other ones, whether it's a webinar or it's a go-to meeting, well, obviously, go-to meeting, we cannot record it anymore for privacy issues. Our licenses from Supreme, they won't allow us to record. So that one you have to come back over and over again. And then the webinars all of our webinars are recorded, but even if they're recorded, we are not going to share the recording, because we want you, if you come to a training in March and you have questions, we don't want you to wait 3 months to get an answer if you put in a question in the chat box. So those we're going to be always live and inviting brothers to come, right? And like I said yesterday, we have, I'll just name his name because we tease him all the time, Pierre from Montreal. He comes on every training. Like, I don't know if he's really bored, but he comes to every training, and he'll come like to the same training 6 times in 2 months. And the other day I asked him, I said, Pierre, do you still learn something? And he says, yes, I learn something every time he comes, because there's different brothers on the call, different questions, and questions that he never thought of asking before. So all of a sudden he says, wow, I never thought about that. So it just helps keep everybody's, brain moving, I guess you could say, or keep it motivating for these guys. But no, we won't share the recordings of the trainings, just the success stories and the fraternal benefit nights.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you for clarifying that.
You're welcome.
Any other questions on? Well, we're ahead of schedule. That means we're supposed to have coffee for 5 minutes. That doesn't bother me. Everyone needs a 5-minute stand-up break. We'll take advantage of that now, and that means we actually finish sooner. So, Kate, we'll do a 5-minute pause, maybe 6-minute pause, and we'll see you in 5 minutes.
Salut, Monsieur Caillé.
Bonjour.
C'est Ronald Wasserl ici.
Comment ça va, mon frère?
Bienvenue au Saskatchewan. Tu viens de l'Ontario? Es-tu dans la région d'Ottawa ou?
Exactement. C'est environ 40 minutes d'Ottawa.
Parce que j'ai un fils qui est il était à Ottawa.
OK, dans quel coin?
Il prend soin du premier ministre qui est dans la gendarmerie royale.
OK. Avec un de mes chums.
Mais il n'est pas un chevalier de colon encore.
Pourquoi?
Ben, j'ai essayé, mais il est loin de moi. Peux-tu peut-être m'aider?
Donne-moi ces informations, puis je vais aller le rencontrer.
Veux-tu que je te donne son nom?
Ben, on peut faire un appel plus tard. Moi, toi,
Ouais.
puis lui, sur un
OK.
go-to. Là.
OK. Mon fils le plus aîné, il est dans il est dans cette région ici, puis il est chevalier, lui.
C'est bon pour lui, ça.
Ça fait que 61 ans que je suis chevalier de colon, moi.
Ça donne votre âge, là.
Pardon?
Ça vient de donner votre âge, ça, là.
Oui. Mon frère plus aîné, il vit encore, puis il est devenu chevalier à l'institution de notre conseil à Zénon Park en 1948. Ça fait 72 ans. Il a 92 ans maintenant. C'est celle qui reste du conseil qui a été initié à cette année-là.
Wow.
C'est pas si mal.
C'est très bon. C'est très bon.
En tous les cas, vous savez, Wassel, c'est pas un nom francophone, ça.
Qui ça?
Non, on est venu à Zénon Park, c'est un petit village qui était francophone. Et puis, je peux vous dire que notre conseil était un conseil francophone au début aussi.
OK.
Mais ça n'est pas aujourd'hui. Mais il y a encore la majorité des chevaliers sont des francophones.
Ben, c'est une bonne chose.
En tout cas, j'ai vu que tu étais là, puis j'ai dit, si je peux lui parler, je vais lui parler une minute ou deux.
OK.
Ça m'a fait plaisir, Alain.
Oui, pareillement, on se reparle. Pour votre gars.
À tout à l'heure.
Ouais.
Everyone refilled their coffee? Or orange juice or what?
We must have a lot of rapid coffee machines around here.
I've got mine's hot. Mine just stays hot for hours. It's coffee comes on at 7 in the morning, and 11 o'clock you can pour it out of that pot and it's still hot. It's amazing. Tassimos are pretty quick too. Don't have one, but
You have a Tim Hortons right next door to you, do you?
I wish. I wish those. Well, everybody's got a Starbucks on, left side, right side, backyard. They're all over the place. So,
Well, they get my vote over Tim Hortons, actually.
yeah. Okay. Hoping Brother Peter's on. There he is. No special effects on the screen today. It's easy to. So, I'd like to welcome or invite Brother Peter Folk. He's our public relations communications website, part of my IT committee. Well-rounded individual, does the state website, also works with the foundation's website, and I know he does council websites and everything. So, Brother Peter, if you'd like to give your report, we appreciate it. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm going to try to share a screen here. Can you see that at all? As you might not be aware, the state public relations chairman meet once a month with Supreme Representative Victoria Vandermeem. And during these meetings, we discuss various things that are happening in the order and various things that are going on with each individual jurisdiction and how Supreme can help with these efforts. So one of the things that was talked about at our last session was the beatification of Father McGivney. I remember, I guess, back a few years ago, I met a young man, Murray Chatman, and he was ordained at our church. And after that, we called him Father Murray Chatman. And then a few years later, he was promoted, and now he's Bishop Murray Chatman. And so we don't call him Father Murray anymore. And so we have to do the same with our founder, Father Michael McGivney. So they have come up with the correct protocol when addressing Blessed Michael McGivney. And you might have heard it in the Supreme Knight's message that he referred to Blessed Michael McGivney. So we don't refer to him as Blessed Father Michael McGivney or Blessed Michael McGivney or Blessed McGivney, but what we do encourage in any publications, press releases, and social media is to call him Blessed Michael McGivney or Father Michael McGivney or Father McGivney. But the first headline, the first time the name is mentioned, it should be called Blessed Michael McGivney. Further on in articles, you can refer to the life of Father McGivney. But that is a promotion, I guess, as our founder has received. And so we have to follow the protocol for calling our founder, as always, Blessed Michael McGivney. Also on the last call was a lady from the Columbia Magazine, which we get every month. They are urgently seeking excellent photos and future photo opportunities of where the events conducted by the members, particularly those outside the United States. And they want to feature more of these photos in the magazine and corporate publications. What are they looking for? Well, they want to show knights in action, not standing in line or posing to an object or holding a check. They want to highlight our faith in action activities, faith, family, community, and life. And the photos should include knights as well as a person or person that the project is serving, if applicable. And the photos should show knights wearing the appropriate Knights of Columbus brand apparel and accessories, a shirt, a hat, a jacket, as appropriate. The knights in the photograph should represent some diversity in age and ethnicity if possible. They're looking for action shots. They're looking for clear photographs, nicely lit, done by a fairly good photographer, I guess, or you know, a good quality photograph. They want a nice, nice clean photograph, you know, without a bunch of garbage in the background or other people in the background, just highlighting the action that is happening. The photograph should be the highest resolution possible and as individual files. And if the photos are too large to send via email, they can send them in multiple emails using the free service called wetransfer.com. And where do you send these photos? You can send them to knightsinaction@kfc.org. And copy me as well. I can include them in our Saskatchewan Nightline. The report for the communications is on page 64. And you can see that we've had in the past year 6,843 visitors to our website. 6,600 of them were new users. We have a Facebook page, which has over 1,000 likes and 1,100 followers. We have a private Facebook group with 543 members. We have a Twitter account, 163 followers. We have a LinkedIn page with 14 followers. We have a YouTube channel, which has 13 subscribers, 55 videos on that YouTube channel, 6 playlists, and 2,600 views. We have had in the past an Instagram that is no longer being updated because we do not have the password for that. Our previous Facebook or Instagram account holder had died. We have a Google My Business listing for the State Council. We have addresses for 492 Brother Knights in our MailChimp account. 456 of them are subscribers. So we send out a weekly update of everything that is posted on our website and is sent out to those 456 people. However, only about 40% of the brothers open the email each week. We have a monthly newsletter, the Saskatchewan Nightline, and that is sent out regularly each month and is read by about 48% of our brothers. The one thing I asked at the state or the Supreme PR chairman meetings was a way that we can reach more people, more Brother Knights in Saskatchewan. We have listed 10,000 and some Brother Knights, and I'm sure that there's probably about 60% of those Brother Knights have email addresses, but we don't have access to those. What we want to see happen, and we've asked Supreme for, is a tool that we can send out our monthly newsletters to perhaps 6,000 people, or 6,000 Brother Knights for our monthly newsletter. What also I would like to see is photographs, head and shoulder shots for all the district deputies and program directors. Our website has a lot of photos, but there's quite a few that are just showing a blank space. So if you could send those to me, that would be great. The Saskatchewan Nightline usually goes out the last Friday of the month, but in December, it is Christmas on the last Friday. So we're going to send it out on the 23rd. So it's a bit earlier this month. So if you have any reports that you want to include in the monthly newsletter, please send them to me. Are there any questions?
Any questions for Brother Peter? Just trying to look around.
Peter, I'm just wondering, quite often what I do is I take your newsletter, the newsletter that comes out, and I will forward it to our members in the distribution list that I have. Now, I'm just curious, I'm not sure about sending you, I could send you the emails that I have for our members. Now, am I allowed to do that? Like, I'm just thinking of privacy and that, or I might be better to contact or send out the distribution and see if they would mind if I forward their email to state. Would that be a better way to go?
I'll Supreme Alain, Brother Alain, if you could comment, I guess, from the Supreme level, because I'm pretty sure I know what you're going to say, but I'll let you say it.
Actually, there is no privacy rule on that because we're part of the Knights of Columbus organization, and they gave us our email. They gave us their email so that we can use it within our own organization. So whether you pass that along to Brother Peter, it's not a problem. Okay. And just while I have the mic at the same time for Brother Peter again, the tool you're looking for, I don't have it with me here, but I know BC found a tool to send up to I think it's 15,000 emails in one shot. And all you need to do is drop your email addresses in the system, and then you just send them out. I believe it's about $10 to $20 a month to have that service, and you can send as many emails as you want. So I'll get back to Worthy State Deputy about that information once I talk with British Columbia's State Deputy, Brother Dale.
Thank you.
There is also on our website a place where individuals can sign up for the monthly newsletter. There's two places there. One that they can get an email every time there's a new article on the website. And there's another one that will receive monthly newsletters. And then there's also another one where they have to put in their membership number, and that will add it to the MailChimp list. The problem is, you know, if we're having more than 2,000 members on MailChimp, we have to pay a certain amount of money. So you are correct that, you know, $10 a month would be a good price. The problem is that we don't have those 6,000 email addresses. And that's what we're asking from Supreme, either a tool or a download from them with those email addresses.
I can get that from you for you. I'll send you a file of all the 6,000 email, or I'll send you a file with all the email address that we have of brothers in Saskatchewan. That's not a problem.
That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the state roster. When you're opening up our state roster, there's a disclaimer that its use is only for Knights of Columbus business, and so sharing the information, as long as we're following that guideline, it's just for Knights of Columbus business. We can share it amongst members. So. Any other questions for Brother Peter?
I see there's one in the chat box. Agnell George has asked me that he has some YouTube videos. How could he add them to the channel? Yeah, if you want to use the WeTransfer to send them to me, I can put them on the state YouTube channel. Usually the MP4 files are fairly large, so trying to send them an email would take quite a while, and a lot of email servers won't take anything over 10 meg. So using a free service like WeTransfer would work really well.
Okay. Anyone else? I do know I've gotten some compliments from people outside of Saskatchewan, a few from Ontario, how they enjoy our newsletters and our Nightline, just very informative, and plus the format we're using compared to others. So it's learning that from other jurisdictions is I'm happy to hear it and share that with you and with Peter that we are getting positive feedback. So it's wonderful to hear that and to be reassured that we're doing the best we can. All we can do is encourage people to read the information. Just a tidbit is middle of October, I'd asked Peter to send out a survey to everyone. So he'd sent a survey to 227, I believe was 227 to be the Grand Knights of Financial Secretaries. And unfortunately, I think it was 55 or 57 people did the survey. So that in itself was a little scary. So we're trying to do what we can to reach out to our councils. Again, the intention is to share information, to inform, and you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. All we can do is encourage the Grand Knights and the financial secretaries to read it and share it with their members. So I want to thank Brother Peter. He works very hard at it and does a very good job, and I definitely appreciate everything he does for us. So thank you, Brother Peter.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Just one more comment too, Brother Knights. I want to thank Peter for, before the day was even over yesterday, for putting the hints and tips that I had, not in the booklet, but they're on the website before our meeting was over even yesterday. So thank you very much. Very well done. Thank you, Peter, for all the jobs you do. You bet.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just I was going to ask a quick question, Peter. Just with the Google My Business has 2 listings for Saskatchewan State Council, one in Moose Jaw and one in Saskatoon. Could you explain that? I'm not that familiar, Peter. What is that?
Well, I created a Google My Business page a few years ago for the Saskatchewan State, and when it moved to Moose Jaw, I changed the address on the Google My Business to Jerry's address in Moose Jaw.
Okay.
And that worked out pretty well. But then when I Googled Saskatchewan Knights of Columbus a few weeks ago, the Saskatoon office was still showing up.
Mm.
And there was a link there that says you can claim this business. So I claimed it and did some updates to it to put the website address in and stuff like that. But there was 2 listings. So I had to contact Google and get the duplicate one removed.
Okay. Thanks. I just wasn't clear on that. Thanks. All right. Thank you.
Alrighty. Moving on, I'd like to invite Brother Richard Colbo, our Charity Appeal Chairman, who is hopefully in a little period of relaxing after the Charity Appeal draw last month. No, it finally gets a little bit of downtime. So I believe he was going to be calling in, or should be on the line. Brother Richard, are you with us? Let's see if it's, give me one moment here, love. Not everybody has a microphone and a camera, so. cell phones and technology is wonderful. Anybody know any funny jokes that we can say in a group of Knights Columbus with the Supreme Representative watching?
Well, there's a bit of a lull. Has anybody heard of Cobra Solutions out of Kingston, Ontario?
And what is it? Cobra?
Cobra, C-O-B-E-R Solutions. I had made an order from Supreme for some, not a very large order. And yesterday while we were on the call, I got 2 big packages from this Cobra, and it's the 4817 membership cards, but I received 40 packages of them from Cobra Solutions, and I've never heard of them before.
It might be the new supply. It could be one of the suppliers from Supreme in Canada.
Well, I had received a supply from Webb Mason, and they sent me what I was supposed to get. And then all of a sudden I have these 2 large packages, and I didn't order them at all. So I'm just wondering if anybody else has ever heard of them. Okay, thanks.
Hi, it's Ron here. I just called Richard. He said he's on the phone, but he can't be heard.
I'm gonna see what we got.
He needs to press the *6.
We'll try that. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Hello. Good morning.
Yes. Okay. I'm here. Sorry, technology and me don't work well together. Worthy State Deputy Joe and Brother Knights, good morning.
Morning.
My report is on pages 62 and 63. Hopefully you've had a chance to read it. And if you have any questions, and I will try to answer them at the end of my presentation. Otherwise, you can phone me or send me an email and I will reply. First of all, just in general terms, based on our income and our expenses, roughly the rebate will be approximately 2/3 of your sales. So, for example, if sales were $2,100, your gross rebate would be $1,400. You got 200 members. That's $400 going to Teen Aid and Special Olympics. So your net your rebate check would be $1,000. It may not be quite 2/3, but it will be somewhere in that 65 to 67% roughly is what you will be receiving on your rebate. Now, the other thing I would like to challenge our 4 largest cities. They have, as far as the population of Saskatchewan, so their sales target area is roughly 580,000 people. In that area, Regina has 1,540 members and had sales of $8,200. Saskatoon had 2,018 members and sales of $15,280. Prince Albert had 427 members and sales of $2,030. Moose Jaw had 317 members and sales of $2,670. So membership numbers represent 41.9% of our total membership, and sales for the 4 largest cities represent 26.2% of sales. So I'm challenging those district deputies from our 4 largest cities to challenge the councils to work on getting their sales numbers up. Just as an example, we have the city of Estevan, who sold in excess of 12,000 tickets this last year, which means that every person in Estevan purchased a $1 ticket. Or I can comment on Unity as well. where we sold 3,340 tickets, and our population is roughly 2,500. So, and I'll brag a little bit more about Unity. When I took over the charity appeal job here in Unity for our council, we were selling 100 books. And this last year we sold 334. That is up from 272 the previous year. So even with COVID, there are ways and means of selling our tickets. Those details and information will be presented with the cover letter that will come with your tickets for 2021. That would end my report. I would certainly welcome any questions that anybody might have.
Brother Richard, if you just want to mention to everybody how you increased your sales in Unity.
Partially because I guess initially it was basically making sure that I tried to get books out to the Brother Knights. Usually saying to them when handing them out at church that was what I started doing back 6, 7, 8 years ago. One book to buy, one book to sell. In other words, my sales force increased from maybe 5 or 6 people that were selling tickets to 70 or 80 Brother Knights that had tickets. And some of them were taking 5 or 10 books. This year, I sat and I got permission to sit at the Co-op grocery store, and I did sit there for, I think, 10 occasions for about 4 hours in the afternoon. And as a result of that, I was able to sell another 80 books. I did it with social distancing. I wore my Knights of Columbus Leave No Neighbor Behind mask. And I basically, when people came in, I had put signs up saying that we were donating our money to the food bank, which we've been doing now for the last 10 or I guess 8 or 9 years anyway. And I didn't, people were, if they came to ask and I explained what was going on, I didn't just say, come over here, I need to talk to you. I just simply let them come to me. And if they wanted to buy tickets, I explained to them that they were $1 a piece. A lot of people were buying at least $5 worth. Quite a few people actually bought a full book. And I got their name and their phone number. And for most cases, I knew they were from Unity. If not, I didn't recognize them. Got their town address, and I filled out the tickets for them. So they didn't even need to touch the pen or anything like that. So we maintained our social distancing and followed protocol. So went well, and truly was a success certainly for the Unity Council.
Hi, Brother Richard. This is District Deputy Dale Meyer here from District 26.
Yes.
Just a question on your report. Under the paragraph Top 10 Councils 2019 ranking, what does the NR stand for?
That means that last year they weren't ranked. That means that they were below, they were less than 11th in the order, 11th as far as sales go.
Oh, okay, good. Thanks very much.
So it means you've climbed the ladder a little bit.
Great, thank you.
So Brother Richard, I was just going to mention that when you mentioned selling tickets at the grocery store, we also do that in Meadow Lake, and we also hand out online information where they can join online, and it's a good recruitment opportunity as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess this year I didn't do that. I was mostly concentrating on that, and I suppose as far as the people that I was seeing, I again didn't see a lot of potential new members that were actually there that I could see that I was actually being able to sell to.
Any other questions for Brother Richard? Just kind of scrolling back and forth. Don't see any waving hands, but. Oh, Alain, Supreme.
I'll just jump in here. It would be nice for Brother Richard here to write us a report about that activity and send it to me for the Canadian success stories, because this is what we're trying to get out there, is what little things can you do in time of COVID, and what he just explained, it hits it right in the middle, it hits the head right on it. So please submit that to us, and we'll try to put that into our success stories for Canada.
Okay, I believe we have some pictures on our website because it's a state project, but we can make sure all that gets to you further on. Any other questions? Around. I do want to thank Brother Richard. I'm not sure if I saw someone else. I do want to thank Brother Richard. It's a lot of work, and I'm very glad that we have someone who's highly organized that's doing it. I do appreciate. I know the state board members also appreciate all the hard work you put in, Richard. Endless nights and pulling out your hair in those couple of weeks before the draw happening with people not reading. Please pull off the covers and the back heavy parts of the tickets. So thank you for everything you do. So thank you very much. You just kind of we're all applauding for you, Richard. You might be on the phone.
Well,
but,
thank you. Thank you.
I assure you, we all appreciate your efforts. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and Merry Christmas and a blessed Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone.
Yeah, same to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, I see Sean with the. I see Sean with the halo. Anybody who knows Sean, can't be him.
The entertainment committee.
Yeah. I'd like to welcome and invite Brother Sean Scher. He's my Coach for Kids and Canadian Wheelchair Foundation chairman, also a fellow board member of the Saskatchewan Charitable Foundation. He does double duty on the same thing for both. So want to welcome you and invite you to bring your message.
Thank you, worthy state deputy. I have two reports, guys. My reports are on page 47 and 48. They're not. They're a quick read, just to take note of. I'll start with the Wheelchair Foundation. It is a tougher year for us to do any major donations or major projects to raise money for it, but I would like you all to remind the councils to keep the Wheelchair Foundation in their plans if possible. We do donate worldwide where there's need, and as well as locally, we've set up a program that we can purchase them right here in Canada and distribute them in your churches or in your halls or wherever. If there's a need in your town for a chair for somebody, they're available. To make your donations, this is new. We kind of got away from it from the foundation of collecting the money there. So if it's just a donation to purchase a chair for somebody somewhere, you make your donation directly to the Canadian Wheelchair Foundation, where you get your receipts and thank yous and all that comes through. They keep track of the donations coming from Saskatchewan and hold the funds there as needed. Then once we have enough, we will purchase another car and send to another country. The chairs that we're distributing in Saskatchewan or in Canada, which we are starting to do, I have distributed over 65 chairs within Canada this year. It's part of the chairs that we get brought into Saskatchewan, and then BC or Alberta, Ontario, send them to New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. They're starting to purchase these ones because they do have our logo on them, and they're nicer for them to donate to where they have to be rather than just ordering the ones without the logo. But if you're wishing to purchase a chair, those donations are to be made, or those checks are to be made to the Sask KFC Foundation, and then deal with myself to arrange for delivery or pickup as such, so that we can get them distributed. The Coats for Kids promotion in March, beginning of COVID, there was a sale. I think most of you know about this. We had a sale came through from state that they would put the coats on sale for half price. So the foundation and state combined had a little chat, thinking that there's a lot of councils that won't be meeting, won't be able to have the ability to even access this yet. So we stepped out above our means and purchased 80 boxes of coats at half price and got them all shipped to Saskatoon. We distributed them through the councils by allowing them just to order them from me, send a check to Jerry to go in, and then I would worry about distributing them. They'd either pick them up or ship them. With that project, we did distribute all of the coats. We have actually 4 boxes left that are in up with Chris, but they are spoken for. We just got to get them out of his hometown and down where we need them in Nipawin is where they're spoken for. So they're all gone. They're actually oversold. I did make a mistake and didn't mark 2 boxes for somebody, and I oversold. As well as I have a couple councils that just made donations. That is welcome to it. We just keep the fund going, and they're available. That fund would be available if we ever get in a real need to get some coats real quick. The next project is just starting. You can see in my report, it does say that there is something coming up on the 50/50 Christmas Boxing Day sale. It has started. We are in communications with the state board, the foundation, and myself are trying to decide how many, if we should, and such order again. And where I need the DD's help is to let us know how many boxes you might need. Now, you probably would not necessarily need, but what your district would want. You could go to your councils directly and say, and ask them, or just give us a general idea. If we go ahead and do this, it would be a partnership with the state and the foundation, which would have to decide to put the money up front for it, and then they would be available in Saskatchewan for quick delivery rather than ordering them in to all the different places. It would be one delivery fee to Saskatoon, then we figure out how to do it. But we do need a little bit of a number, a little bit of a goal from you guys to know how many to buy. We don't want to overbuy and have money tied up sitting in a storage of product. We would rather get a closer number to how many to purchase. So with a simple email or a phone call or a text to Joe or myself, I think we could include Chris in that if you want, and that'll give us an idea. We have to order before December 10th to be part of this. I have a slight suspicion that it might even be better than 2 for 1. If you opened your emails this morning, guys, there was the Giving Day Tuesday promotion where they had hoped to raise 200. They had a matching grant of 150,000, and that matching grant or this program was designed, well, is designed, to my knowledge, is who's paying for the second half of the coats. Now, the email that came through this morning was it did such a great job. So going from 150 plus the match of 300,000 up, the other match of 150 would give them 300,000. They raised almost $1 million. It was 960 some thousand. So there is a chance that this might even be better if we have bigger projects. It would be something I would be chasing Supreme for with a bigger project. We might be able to get better than matching, but that just allows us to distribute more coats. So with that, we would be, again, the foundation would be putting the money up front. Payments would go through the foundation just to collect the money back again. And what that does is allows us to have them on hand for quick delivery when people are in need. I get those calls quite often. Do you have any boys size 16 coats? And things like that. And it would be really wonderful at this time now to say, yeah, I do. But right now I'm sold out. So hopefully we can get that moving forward. Any questions?
Can you just remind us how much a box is?
Yes, for the reminder, they are $375 a box if you were to order them direct yourself and get them shipped. They, through us, through the foundation and through the state here, we have got them in at $187 a box. We're selling them for $200 a box due to freight and just the handling of them. It's not that much. I think we might be making $1 or $2 on a box, but it's not anything huge by any means. And if we're making $1 or $2, it's just going right back into it. So don't feel bad. The 200 is a nice round number, no tax, no nothing added. That's where we're at. So $200 a box.
Can we get bigger?
I just had a question, so everybody hears. Can we get bigger sizes? They are available. I will see if they're available in this promotion and let you know about that if there is.
Don, are there a dozen coats in a box?
Yes, they come boys, a dozen boys mixed. The ones that we're ordering in this promotion were boys sizes from 7 to 16, which is basically grade 1 to grade 9-ish. At stretching it, I would say grade 8. And then the girls, the same sizes, but they do come 12 in a box, either boys or girls, if you're ordering from Supreme. If we bring them in and you only want one box, I have been mixing them for the councils that only can afford one box. I'm quite willing to take half of them out, half the girls and half the boys, and put that case together. And then the next council that needs the same, it's worked out very well. So lots of availability if we go through with the program, but the biggest part of the program is we need to know what the demand would be right now for the rest of this winter. So if you could check with your councils or even just give us an educated guess what you think the councils will have, that's something to work with. Thanks, Ron.
I was going to mention, Sean, that the deadline where state has to submit the proposal is December 10th. So DDs, let us know right away, next couple of days.
Yeah. There was an email that was going to be sent and unfortunately got hiccuped in one. So it was, got sent out Friday night. So hopefully the councils received it yesterday morning. And if not, I know some guys have their work email. So please follow up with them tonight or tomorrow, because we need to have a rough total by the 8th so we can do some totals and work between the state board and the foundation. We'll need to meet because the state has to put the proposal in, just so people are aware. And reading, if people don't see the chat there, for the SP7 award, if you buy them through state, you get 1 credit for the Star Council or towards the Columbian Award. But if you buy them through Knights Gear and you buy it in the quantity, then you get the 2 credits. So just if people don't have their chat feature on. Any other questions for Brother Sean?
Sean, I was just wondering, you said that the age groups were from 7 to 15 in the boxes?
Well, the sizes would be 7 to 16. Age groups, you've got to look at a kid that's basically in grades 1 to 8. Tells you about the size of the boy or the girl sizes. They're small, medium, large, and extra large, but that just tells you the sizes. So yeah, you get a better idea. Grades 1 to 8.
Elementary school ages.
Yeah.
So, okay. Like to thank Brother Sean for all his hard work. I know, Sean, it's it's close to his heart too, these programs. And he's been a strong promoter of the wheelchairs on the Coast for Kids for many years. And I know like he keeps in constant contact with Christiana Flessner, you know, the CEO president of the Canadian Wheelchair Foundation. So we know we've got some very good ties and close ties with her. So thank you, Brother Sean, for all that you do. This time I wish to invite our worthy State Secretary, Brother Larry Packett, to just discuss the State Council activities calendar. We know there's COVID going on, but I'll allow and invite him for his comments and report. He's on page 2.
Good morning, everyone. As everybody knows, the event page is on. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. On page 78 is the list of all the calendar there. It's been a trying time to fill the calendar, as everybody knows, with the uncertainty in the world right now. It's been quite tough. Some councils are very apprehensive to commit to hosting any kind of event because hosting an event is still limited. The charity appeal was a very huge success in Bigger. Up job, and it proves it can be done just on a smaller level. I have approached a couple councils for the future hosting of events, but nothing is written in stone at this time. With those kind of things, it's kind of tough to make any future plans. But as worthy State Deputy Joe and I spoke, getting these calendar filled with the hope of actually having the event. It's much easier to say we can't have an event than to be scrambling at the last minute looking for a council to host it. I'm asking all district deputies to ask their respect, consider hosting an event. It's very, very, very good for the morale of the council. It brings together, and basically hosting these events is a lot of fun for a council, and it can rejuvenate a council into maybe being more successful and even attracting new members. The more active a council is, the more vibrant they look, and the better they have at maybe hosting or maybe attracting a man that's been considering ability to work together and put on one of these events. So that's about all I have to report on that. Like I say, it's been kind of slow with state activities, but we keep our ear to the ground and our nose to the grindstone and keep looking for people to host events. At this time, I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and I hope everybody has a healthy, Happy New Year. And does anybody have any questions?
Look back and forth. Again, we know it's a challenge with COVID happening, but and with scenarios where we can't group, but I know we're working on a charity appeal for the fall, working on with a couple of councils. Hopefully we can get some finalized. Some of the, like this recent one we had in Bigger was best support as we could, but it was still a wonderful evening. It was a good night of brotherhood and fellowship and fraternity. So to take advantage of these opportunities when we can, even in these times, is what we'd like to do. And just each program is like charity appeal is meant for smaller communities, like same with golf, curling, recognizing the the areas that we can host these events in. So we'd like, you know, reach out to your councils, and it could even be a district event. I believe it was a couple of years ago where the curling was spent in 2 towns. So things can be, we can spread it out a little bit to spread the workload out, and then I guess share the fundraising potential and the unity and brotherhood. I believe Brother Ron had his hand waving, I think. Maybe not.
Go ahead, Adrian. Brother Joe, are we looking at the Clergy Sports Day in Munster for the next year or two?
On that one, that was specifically one that will, it was brought up during my meeting with the bishops. That one we need the blessing of the bishops and the support. They don't want to, it's to have people from a wide range of communities all coming together in one during the COVID is there's a great fear in spreading COVID throughout our priestly leaders, and nobody wants that. So we're just waiting for the bishop's approval. That event won't be going away. We'll just call it postponed until we get the approval with the bishops to continue with it. But
well, we're looking at July anyways. So by then the vaccine should be here.
the last time I checked, they're sending 20,000 vaccines to Saskatchewan, and they have no idea who's getting them. And the population is 1.2 million. So I know it's going to take, being realistic. Yeah, well, I know we're not going to have enough for everyone. So it all depends on, hopefully things get under control. I really do. By July, I'd like to hope that we're much better off than we are today. But we have to wait until, again, the bishops say yes, because it was an event for the bishops at their request, and once they say yes, we can proceed. We gladly will. And so, any other questions? Okay, seeing none. This time, I'd like to invite another very busy individual, person who it seems like I'm in contact with almost every other day. Our State Executive Secretary, Brother Jerry Genie, man who does many things behind the scenes for us, for all of us. Want to invite Brother Jerry to, I guess, give his address and any report he may have.
Thanks very much, State Deputy Joe, and good morning to all my brother knights out there. First of all, I'd like to thank many of you individuals for getting your reports in. This go around, mainly it was our program directors, state board, of course, supply a lot of reports. And I got to give a shout out to Eugene, State General Program Director, for putting together his report. The booklet is really quite a handy tool. I think a lot of us are finding it a lot more handy than the 3-ring binder, because the booklet from each of these meetings can actually be carried along with us, and it's a great reference tool. So I really like putting it together, and actually, of course, appreciate as Peter Folk understands, without the input from the general people out there that are giving reports, the booklet becomes quite small. Again, in the booklet, my contact information is on page 79, the very last page. And so, I certainly welcome any calls that you have. If you've got inquiries about anything, a lot of times I won't know the answer, but I'll just act as kind of the conduit to connect you up with the people you need to talk to, whether it be our general program director or the agency or whatever. Certainly that's something that I don't mind doing, and I take quite seriously to help you guys out as much as I can. I'll just mention my phone number that's listed there. That's a cell phone. So if there's an email that was sent out and I haven't responded, maybe, and it's something of an urgent matter, give me a quick text, and that's no problem. Then I I know that, okay, I got to look at this thing right away and we'll get it taken care of. Just a couple other things. State Deputy Joe yesterday commented or spoke about the council health assessment form. So many of you that received the booklet don't know this, but each of the district deputies included with their booklet was one council health assessment form for each council in their district. So that way those can be filled out as State Deputy Joe requested, and then they'll obviously get back to him. On the electronic copy, which I'm working on now, I've got additional reports up. I'm already up to page, I think, 87 with more reports coming in that missed the printing cutoff. So in that electronic version, which will be out next week, early next week, once Joe and I finalize it, it'll have a copy of that council health assessment form for everyone to see as well. Lastly, I think I'll just remind my usual reminder, the state roster or directory, which we print every year, is online as well. And so things always change as we go through the year. So if you find that Grand Night has changed or phone number, address, just give me a quick email and the online version will be updated so that we've got the most current information online as possible. And I think worthy State Deputy Joe, that is all I have. I'd just like to wish all of my brothers and their families a blessed Christmas and an enjoyable break.
Thank you very much, Brother Jerry. I think the man deserves a round of applause for everything he does on a regular day. Without him, I'm in trouble. There's no doubt about it. I need him. We all need him. He's very key piece of the part to the Saskatchewan team. So thank you, Brother Jerry, for everything that you do.
You're welcome.
Worthy State Deputy Joe and Jerry, I was just wondering whether there would be any value in sending out the electronic copy of the booklet to all the Grand Knights and the potential secretaries. I know the district deputies will probably be having district meetings, but that may not be till, in some cases, till after the new year.
I would encourage the district deputies to reach out and forward, by all means, they could forward them to the Grand Knights and the financial secretaries. But when they do so, to have a conversation with them about it. Just so yes, please do forward them on. But I would encourage the district deputies to do so, and again, have a conversation about the booklet and the information that's in it, and to have their district meetings. But the more that get this information, really, the better. We don't want it to be the best kept secret. This is information that does need to be shared with every active member and even member who's there just, maybe sitting on the sideline. They aren't aware of some of the programs we're doing. And maybe that'll be that enticement that, hey, you guys are doing codes for kids, and some jurisdictions aren't. So it might be that little push to get someone active to find something close to their heart that they want to pursue and promote in their groups. So any other comments? Okay, seeing none, we're at that point where we start, I guess, to wind down, and I want to invite our supreme guest, the Canadian Territorial Growth Director, Brother Alain Caillé, to give his Christmas greetings, closing remarks, and his address to our Saskatchewan team.
Perfect. Good morning again, brothers. Worthy State Deputy. I will save some time with the litany. Brother Knights, I want first of all to thank you for your patience for with my microphone, that I had issues yesterday, and it's always difficult, I guess, when we're virtual versus in person. The only thing that can go wrong in person is if the electricity goes down or you get really nervous and you start to stutter. So this is a little bit different. So, but thanks again for your patience. And also I want to thank you for welcoming me to your meeting. Like I said yesterday, my opening remarks, I wish I would have been there in person, because I know Class A Deputy Denny Kerrigan has asked me a couple times to go to Saskatchewan, but the occasion never came up. So brothers, over the last couple days, we've learned a lot. We were given a lot of information on how we can move forward, what is happening. And really, we also talked about, you know, the current situation with our numbers in Saskatchewan, and then also the tools that we have to use to change that direction. And so basically, one of the things similar to what we do in our trainings, we very often at the end of our training decks, we have this hourglass, and then we're kind of turning it upside down, right? And we're saying, okay, now that you've got the information, what are you going to do with it? And if you're just going to put it in the closet and not use it, well, that's the same result as what your counselors will have. So basically, we have to do something. So I'd like to go over a little bit of some of the overviews that I thought was very important for me anyways to learn from you, but also what's really important that we have to implement a little bit more. We talked about the inactive members and how we have to, you know, trying to get them back into a member. Don't forget that on the state level and the state account for e-members, there's already 14 inactive members. That means there's 14 members that became a knight over a year and 1 day ago, and no council reached out to him. His renewal came up and he didn't renew. Now we're finding out in other jurisdictions that these men are not even aware because the email has changed. So we have to find a way to reach out to these brothers. Okay, so when they did register as an e-member, there was a telephone number, and it's up to the state now and their team to go ahead and find these men. But when we talk about the state, it's not just the state board. District deputies, you're part of the state. So we have to work together. Now, more importantly, because there's only 14 inactive in the state council account for the e-members, there's a lot more inactive members in your own councils. These men once left the order, but these men once were members. Why did they leave? If you go and look at your council rosters, look at any man that is inactive, it would not surprise me that they left the order after only a couple of years in the Knights of Columbus when there was no room for them. They probably joined between the age of 18 and 30 years old. They were trying to start to raise a family. Time was limited, and they thought this was not for me. So they were suspended, but they still had insurance. The good thing is what I learned myself is when you get to a certain age, between 40 and 45, we kind of lose a job. We lose the job of being the dad taxi driver, bringing our kids here and bringing our kids there. So when we start raising those kids at 20, 25, or 30 years old, when you get to 45, well, these kids have driver's license now. So we're kind of bored. So it's time for us and for you to review your council's inactive members. If they're older than 45 years old, maybe they want to get back in action. Maybe they need an organization to reach out to them, first of all, using the Leave No Neighbor Behind initiative, right? And say, hey, how are you? Is everything okay? After we get through that, how about returning back to the Knights of Columbus? Do you have time now? Because 9 out of 10, time was the issue when they left the order. So inactive members will give you 1 credit for your McGivney Award, council award. So make sure that you utilize that. Now the e-members, like we talked yesterday, is that fishbowl. Remember that fishbowl. You know, let's try to take a picture, and I don't have my PowerPoint open to show you, but let's imagine when we go fishing and we sit on the side of the water and we cast our line into the water, or we're in the boat and we cast it in the lake. Okay, do we have a lot of odds of getting a fish? Not always. But if we were to put 10 fish in a fishbowl and put a lure in there with a worm at the end, how likely will we get a nibble? There's a lot of chances. That fishbowl is our bank of e-members for you to fish in. So let's not forget those. Now, the reports. We talked about reporting, okay? first of all, you know the importance of the 185. And so far, there's only 50% of the council that sent this in. The 185 is taking the key and putting into your vehicle and starting the engine. If you don't have the 185, your engine is not running. It's stopped. We have to fill that in. That's all the elected officers. And the 365, which is even lower, it's at 25% that were submitted. Well, that's all your program directors. It's to get the activities going. And we know if we don't have activities, we don't have recruiting. It goes hand in hand. So those are two very important documents. Now, don't forget, as district deputies, there is a 1295, the semi-annual audit that you have to review of your councils twice a year. Now, the second period is coming at the end of December, and you'll be due by February 14th or 15th. And then the most important document form that's coming up, okay, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, is the 1728. It's from January 1st to December 31st, and the council has until January 31st to submit it to Supreme. Why is it so important? Why is it the most important document? It's the only one that can help us save the Knights of Columbus with our non-for-profit status. This is a report that Knights of Columbus give to the different governments and say, look, this is all the amount of money that we donated. This is all the amount of money, the amount of time that we've donated to charity in the communities. We are non-for-profit. So it is very, very important. And then to follow up with the reports, the most important thing after that, to protect your members, it's safe environment. We talked about it this morning. We talked a little bit about yesterday. You know, many people, not many of us, like to pay insurance because we find it pretty expensive. But when you have an accident or something happens, insurance is pretty cheap at that time. Well, safe environment is the same thing. It might be a pain in the you know where to do the 3-hour course. But if something was to happen in an activity, you would say, wow, 3 hours is not much for 3 years of being certified, right? We have to always weigh what could be the backside of an action. So safe environment, very important, gentlemen, and thank you for being leaders in that department. We talked with Brother Mark Lewins yesterday, our general agent for Saskatchewan, on the fraternal benefit nights. Now, these are very important. We have to work, like we said yesterday, with your field agent. Now, there is one thing that you're going to learn on the January 7th and 5th webinars in French or English, okay? Really, we have to remember that there is a form, and the form number is 11077. 11077. Now, this form is what is required of a council to qualify for one fraternal benefit night, okay? You will see on there the date, the councils involved, how many people attended. It doesn't say there's a minimum, okay? And it'll show also which field agent did the fraternal benefit night. Following that, it'll show you what the council has to do to qualify. You need to do 3 of the next 7 things. Now, I don't have them, I didn't list them, I won't list them here, but one of them is to send an email to all your members. You know, have a pulpit announcement. There's 7 things. Out of those 7, 3 has to be done, and it is signed by your general agent. That is it. There's nothing else, right? Now, I know some of you yesterday said that you had some, but on our star tracker that we were given at the beginning of this month, Saskatchewan shows 0. We know that you might have done some, but if you don't report it, it's still 0. We have to report it, okay? And you have until June 30th to get it done. Don't wait till last minute also, guys. It's really important. So continue with that. I would actually recommend that you take the lead with this document 11077 and make sure it's filled and just send it to the field agent and copy the general agent so that way they can attest to it, sign it, and send it to Supreme. A lot easier for them to control, okay? There's a lot of councils involved in this. We also talked, or I did talk yesterday, about the 10 keys for success for the remaining of the year. Please utilize, I would say, 80% of them, 8 out of 10. Okay, it's very important. We talked already about the menu and the importance of getting training on a regular basis, and the training is there available for anyone at any time of the day. The other thing that we talked this morning, and I really enjoyed what our worthy state deputy brought, was the 18-question questionnaire. Why I'm so happy that he brought it is because initially that was my form that I created about 5 years ago. And I'll give you the reason why I created it and why Supreme thought it was a great idea. Because when I was state deputy in Ontario in 2015 to 2017, we had councils like Saskatchewan that comes to state deputy and says, well, where do we send the books? We want to close our councils. Okay, one council is dead. There's nobody there. Well, we realized that the issue did not start the year before. The issue started about 15 years before. So what happened is when you look at the questionnaire and you answer truthfully, yes or no, yes or no, yes or no, it's the answers no that we want to know. So as an example, out of 18 questions, if a council says that they have all yeses except for 3, they have 3 no's, well, that means they're a very good, healthy council. But if you have 15 no's and 3 yeses, well, the council is on a respirator. And in a couple of years, they'll be calling the state deputy to say, where do we send the stuff? Where do we send the charter? Okay, so we have to remember that the less that you have no's, the healthier your council is. And every no is what you have to work on so your council becomes an 18 out of 18. And where Supreme thought it was really good was it was a good way for the district deputy to really realize how good or bad their councils were health-wise. Okay, so be true with the answers. Don't sugarcoat it. It's not helpful to you. It's not helpful to your state deputy, and it's not helping. It's not useful for Supreme. Just like the 944. Be honest on it. Don't try to say that they're great. I remember receiving them, and I know past State Deputy Chris and brother State Deputy Joe get them on a regular basis, your 944s. And the first 3 questions or 4 questions says, does your council officer meet on a regular basis? Yes. Do they do everything that is required of them? Yes, 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 yes. And then they ask, will they make their McGivney quota? No. Well, it's not possible. If they do what they have to do, they will reach their quota. It's simple as that. So don't sugarcoat your report, gentlemen, and we know you won't. Next, I'm glad, I was really surprised and happy to see that you guys talked about a little bit about Into the Breach, which is a great tool. And also, you're lucky. You had your state chaplain, and you also had Bishop Brian, your assistant chaplain, which is great. I go on many other conventions from other jurisdictions, and you don't get 2. You get 1, and sometimes he's not there. So you're very lucky and blessed to have him. I love the spirituality that reigns in Saskatchewan. Keep it up and push the Into the Breach. Now, Into the Breach is new, and I'm sure you're not quite too familiar with what it's all about. We do have, as you know, on the menu, we have the training decks that we show how to do an Into the Breach session. It's not complicated. It's really not. So if you're not sure, come and see that. And just to finish off on training, you probably heard that there has been some changes coming to the meeting structures of our councils. Okay, so these changes right now have been approved. They're ready to go. The only ick that we have right now is that in Canada, there's a couple provinces that have different rules that could be contrary to the suggestion that Supreme is putting for their meetings. But once we get that ironed out, we will send everything to you, and you are more than fine to start implementing that in your council meetings. Canada Cup, wow. I'm glad, first of all, I'm glad that Brother Joe did receive the cup before this meeting, because I know we've been working hard. We've been working really hard to get this back to you guys for this meeting. And so first, I want to congratulate immediate past Deputy Chris and Marty, his membership director, and the entire team, which includes, like we mentioned yesterday, every one of you and every one of your council and every one of your members that recruited a member. Worthy State Deputy Joe yesterday mentioned that you guys won by 1 member, right? So it's not the last member that counted. It's all of them that counted. If you didn't get the first one, you never would have had it. Okay, so very important to remember that. So congratulations to Saskatchewan team to get that cup back for the second year. But now, are you willing, in another 6-7 months, are you willing to put a stamp on it and not expect it back? You want it to come back to Saskatchewan, we got to do a couple things. We got to start recruiting. And I know that you know that recording is important, but one of the biggest problems our councils have is they don't know how to. And remember that training through the menu we talked about? That's where they can get those lessons. That's how we can show them how to recruit during pandemic times and so forth. So please, let's bring the cup back to Saskatchewan. But we got some ground to cover. We got to catch up to the pack. But I believe you're fourth, I believe, in the Canada Cup Challenge right now. So you're not in last place, but you know, we got to get back closer to the top. Now, we talked about recruiting, and yesterday I talked a little bit about the initiative of asking every officer at any level, state board, district deputies, chairmen, directors of the state, plus your council officers, to recruit one new member before Christmas. Don't forget, if you don't ask your Grand Knights or their program director to bring this to everyone's attention in the council, how will you expect them to recruit a member before Christmas? Some of them might not even know that there is a McGivney 2020. Some may not even know that it is free. They don't know. You are the leaders. We have to make sure that this goes down with you guys. Leave no neighbor behind initiative and faith in action will always continue so far with this COVID. Make sure that you keep a good handle on that in your discussions with your councils. So one thing that I got to repeat all the time though, is we have to make sure that you follow the provincial guidelines for the restrictions, right? If it's not safe, you don't go. We're not asking you to go and do this if it's not safe. It's got to be sure that it's safe. Okay, we've had experience in Canada lately, okay, and this is in Alberta, which is not too far from you guys. They did a couple church drives, and you're going to say, yeah, but there's restriction. But they stayed in the parking lot. They talked to people, similar to what I think it was Brother Richard earlier that mentioned about the tickets, right? They came to him, and so they stayed outside, and people they talked, and they signed 32 members that same day, on that same weekend, I should say, for the state, which is great. Same thing for activities, right? When we do an activity, make sure you drop some flyers in there. You know, we got all these publicity flyers. Just drop a couple in there. How to get a hold of you, and maybe let them know that you need help, and that would be nice for them to help you out. Flyers, benefits. Now, I put on here the 2773. Do you all know what this is? This tool is the best recruiting tool. It's the best retention tool, and it's the best publicity tool that Supreme ever has to offer to our members. 2773. You can order them, okay? Order them. It's the best tool. I'll explain to you why. Because of the benefits. It's the benefits of the order. A lot of our members are not even aware of this, right? Are we aware that we have benefits that can help young families, but they have to be Knights to get them? Do we know we have benefits for older gentlemen? Even if they're 70, 75, 80, or even 95 years old, there's still benefits for them. I'm sure you have young families in your communities. And now let's make sure we understand this right. A young family with a child under the age of 18 has a benefit for his children in case he becomes an orphan. It's called the orphan benefit. So that means, well, I have 4 kids. Now, mind you, my kids are older than 18. They wouldn't count. But 15 years ago, they were all under 18. So 15 years ago, when I decided to go with my wife, we went to Dominican Republic. What happens if the plane crash? Guess what? Our kids are orphans. So for every kid that is 18 years or younger, and where both parents die, whether it's an accident, cancer, it doesn't matter. when they become orphan of both parents, each of those children under the age of 18 will get a post-secondary education fund up to $7,000 for free per child. Do you and your councils know anyone that has kids in their communities? We don't have to reach out to them in person now. We can call them. This is important, how they can protect themselves. Second thing, when we get older and you're not a knight, if you're 70, 75, 80, and you become a knight, for what reason would you join the Knights of Columbus? I met a gentleman, he was 93 years old when he joined. And I asked him the same question. He says, well, Alain, it's simple. There's a couple reasons. First of all, I'm 93. I don't have any more friends. They're dead. Realistically, they're dead. So you guys will meet and have activity once in a while. I said, yes. Well, that's enough, to get me out of the house. But he says, who's going to pray for me after I die? My friends are dead. He says, I read that in your 2773, for every member and their spouse, after they pass away, there's a daily mass of remembrance every day for as long as we're still on earth, until eternity. I said, yes. He says, well, that's enough for me to join. He's looking for the spirituality of himself, to have prayers for him once a day, a daily mass. I know my father passed away 5 years ago, and if I was to go to church to pay for a mass for him, it would be at least $15. Well, let's lower it down to $10. And my mom, she's still alive, but when she passed away, it would be another 10 for her. So $20 a day times 365 days a year, that's over $7,000 a year of benefit, free of charge. This is the kind of benefits we have to use, without forgetting the other flyers. The 24 hours can change your life. This flyer is what most of the younger people tell us. I don't have time. Show them, guys, 24 hours and your life will change, right? 6 hours of that, we're asking you to read the Columbia magazine. How much more volunteer do you want? But another thing that's very important, and we don't utilize these two flyers, is the public safety personnel, firemen, police, and ambulance drivers, nurses, right? Doctors, first responders. There's an extra insurance if they were to pass away during line of duty, just similar like the military one. Do we know that if someone was to pass away in their line of duty, military or first responders, there is a $25,000 education for bursary for their kids, each of their kids, whether they're insured or not? How many of you have a kid that works for the police or is a fireman or maybe a military? Are they a Knights of Columbus? Should they be a Knights of Columbus? They should. And these are the reasons why we have to use this. I know yesterday our Worthy State Deputy talked about the incentive and that Alain Caillé would give a couple plates, I think, or 3, right? Was it 3? And we never showed you the plates, but I'll show you the plates now. Okay? So if you look somewhat closely, it's hard to see here with the screen, but it's to celebrate our 100th year of anniversary of the Knights of Columbus in Canada. And this was between the years 1897, when Council 284 in Montreal was founded, and 1997, after 100 years later. So we have these are worth about $85 a piece. We have 3 for you guys. I just wanted to take the time to show you, to make sure that you know what you're working for. So we've talked about the hourglass. Now, what are you going to do with this information is the important thing. Okay, make sure we work with it. Don't forget, Supreme has a couple of videos. They have the Witness to the World and the Blessed McGivney documentary, which are very, very important. Okay, publicize these within your councils. Don't forget the online degree. You can do it with Supreme, you can do it with State, you can do it with your own team if you have the ability to create a video and have it played for your ceremonials, which is very important. When we talked about it yesterday, when you have personal face that you recognize, it's always good. Just before I leave, I just want to mention something about the situation with the COVID and with the churches who are kind of in need of money. And some of our bishops have told us that we should try to maybe withhold some of the money that we were about to give to the seminaries or the seminarians and give it to the diocese or to the church. Okay, so that's a personal decision a council should take a look at, but it did come from some of our bishops. So just to pass the word out. All right. So to conclude here, first of all, I want to thank everyone for your attention. I also want to make sure that you know that where you are today in your situation, we can make Circle of Honor. And the reason why Circle of Honor is so important is that it shows that the state is still alive. We can't just work backwards. I'll give you an example, okay? 30 years ago in Quebec, they had 110,000 members. Today, they're under 80,000 members, okay? That's a drop of 30,000 members over the last 30 years. Why? Because they were bringing guys and they weren't really working with them. And these men, they left the order for whatever reason, okay? So you can't work backwards. In the Circle of Honor, it's actually a demonstration that there's recruiting in every council, there's recruiting in every district, and the state is moving forward in a positive way. So important it is because, gentlemen, these membership, these recruiting, whatever you want to call it, it's not really a numbers game. It's a way to survive. But it's also because we're a fraternity. We have to replace the members who pass away, just like when they recruited me and you 10, 15, 30, 40 years ago, because other members had passed away before. If we don't replace, we are starting to die. And when you're starting to die, when you're going to start answering the 18 questions, you're going to see more no's and no's and no's every year as you go by, because there's less things happening, right? The scary part is when you go from a very good council, healthy council, to then when you only have the same guys around the table playing musical chair to see who's going to be the officer. And then they get so good that a couple of years later, now there's so many people left of the council, some guys have to have 2 roles, right? It's not just 1 per role. Now you have 6 guys left and they have to play 2 roles because they're so good. But that's just kind of a joke. It's not really good. It's actually the wrong way to go. But the only way to turn that around is with recruiting, giving new blood, giving new life. And I know you guys can do it in Saskatchewan. So on this, on behalf of my wife, Cheryl, and myself, I want to wish all of you and your families a very Merry Christmas and all the best for 2021. It's got to be better than 2020, but all the best in your endeavors. And let's not forget, we are all challenged to recruit 1 member before Christmas. Thank you so much. Viva Jesus.
Joe, you need to unmute yourself.
Perfect. Thank you. Got too many lights going, too many beeps going here. I do appreciate your comments, Brother Alain, and thank you for spending the weekend with us here in Saskatchewan, and for offering us your insights and your guidance. And for those who don't know, we meet probably twice a month, once to twice a month. We discuss sometimes just Alain and I, and we've invited the membership team and sometimes the Western Canada state deputies. We're all trying to work together, and it's been very beneficial and very rewarding for me. So thank you very much for your time and effort. So on, everybody's aware, on October 30th, our founder was beatified. So some part of we promote free membership, the McGivney 2020, but where I'm going to be working here in the next couple of days, what I actually want to promote is the why we're offering free membership. I think is where we need to, like our founder was beatified, and we want to share that with our parishioners, with the fellow men in our parishes on why the Knights of Columbus are so special in this day and age. 138 years ago, our founder created the order during a time of pandemic, and here we are again, kind of coming full circle. Our church is in desperate need of men supporting the church spiritually and financially, as we know. I don't want to call it, with the dispensation, not the blessing to stay away from the church, but the dispensation of men and families staying away from the church. The weekly collections, not everybody signed up electronically, and so we need to encourage and promote our brother knights to be leaders in the churches, to attend as often as they can, as their church, depending on the communities we live in. Here in Saskatoon, there's almost a waiting list to get to mass. I spent part of the day on Friday with Father Ed, our state chaplain. He wishes he had a lineup for those attending in his parish. So we know in some of the smaller communities, there's not the lineup as much as people hope they would be. So as the leaders, please reach out to your Grand Knights and financial secretaries, and encourage them to reach out to their members to support their parishes, attend mass. And I'm going to say a key part, I guess, when I met with the bishops, and I sent out a special bulletin about my meeting with the bishops, is to encourage every night to reach out to their parish priests and their bishops, because right now we encouraged this back in July. A lot of our priests and bishops, clergy are feeling very isolated, very lonely, a lot of anxiety. People like to voice their opinion in this day and age, how they feel things can be done better, and that's always, as we know, is always done hindsight, and our priests and our bishops are doing the best they can with what they know at the time, and unfortunately we want to support their wishes and what they're trying to accomplish, and they need our support. So please reach out to our bishops and our priests and be there for them and support them however they can, following the SHA guidelines here in Saskatchewan and COVID protocol, and to be the leaders in your parishes. To when other parishioners come in and they might question things, please say, no, we need to do what we're asked to do, and to be strong enough to stand up and say, gentlemen, we need to do what's right for our parishes, and to support them. So, again, it was a week and a half ago or last week, I sent out a challenge to a few people to put the posters of the free online member on everybody's Facebook page, and then I'll be trying to find some new posters here in the next week, and I'd like to challenge everyone to it, and I forward it to the district deputies and to some program directors. Please pass it on to your councils, and I'd like to do another blitz, probably. We'll see what happens by Thursday or Friday of the weekend coming up, see if we can find some new posters, but just to try and create awareness in our parishes, in our communities, of the free membership, in honor of the beatification of Father McGivney, of the blessed Michael McGivney. I want to make sure I'm saying things properly. We want to, just speaking with a couple of people, they're not always aware when they're signing up electronically. The council does not need to approve them. If they're electronic, they join. It's the vetting and the admissions committee component is part of them going from online to the council. So really, any member who's eligible to join the Knights needs to join online right up front as a way to get things started. Again, having them join a council will be the next step. Want to promote, again, this COVID is not going away, so we want to continue to promote the Leave No Neighbor Behind. I know Brother Eugene our General State Program Director mentioned the Form 10784, and we need councils to report what's going on. In an ideal world, we'd have a few councils submitting it on a regular basis, and our program directors could answer questions. You know, if a council, what can we do? They could say, hey, this works this is working in one community, maybe we can do it on the other side of the province. You know, we can share what's happening, because we know some councils are struggling what to do. But if we're not reporting what we're doing, we can't advertise and we can't share what's happening to encourage other councils to get involved. Also want to really, as like what Brother Peter and Brother Paul had said yesterday, please make sure we're calling our members, not just starting in January. We know dues, the annual request for dues is going to start. It shouldn't be the first time that they've gotten a phone call. We don't want them. We want them to answer the call when a Brother Knight calls. And if you do leave a message, as you say, just say why you're calling. Just to say, hey, want to reach out to you. It's Christmas time. We know this can be a lonely time for many people. We want to make sure that if you need anything, you can reach out to us, Brother Knights. That's what we're here for. And to please, you know, we'll keep you in our prayers. And so if we do call again next month, you know, maybe they'll answer that call, because they understand we're just calling just to talk, to shoot the breeze, as we to you know, just make sure our members are their needs are being met. Coats for Kids, again, apologies for email. They're supposed to be sent out a little sooner than it was, or a little earlier, but we did get it out. So please follow up with your councils. Really by Tuesday, I need to have a plan together, because I need to get it in pretty much before, I need to have it into Supreme before I leave work. So that means I have to have it in by the 9th, which creates my challenge. As we kind of get to the end here, I do plan to have, like as we did back in July, I do want to have some follow-up Zoom meetings. I just recognize that Christmas time and a little bit of a challenge for people wanting to get together with family. I will probably maybe after New Year's, the first couple of weeks, I will reach out to some program directors, and I'll want to set up some Zoom meetings with the district deputies. And you know, the reality is, if there's some councils in your groups that have a bunch of questions, I'm not opposed to them joining the Zoom meeting as well, just because our state license allows 100 people to participate. You know, this weekend we had I think the highest number I saw was 43. So if a few councils in some areas wanted to join on those those information sessions, by all means, they could join us. You know, the more they get the information, the better. The purpose, as our state executive secretary said, like the purpose of this book isn't to be you get it in the mail, you chuck in your briefcase, and then the next time you might find it is when it's beside the charity appeal check you're supposed to present to that council 6 months ago. So it's not going to help anybody. So we want to make sure it's out for everyone to see. So the December training menu, please encourage your council members to participate. The Supreme training webinar, which is on December 17th, which is relates to the changes of the council meetings. I encourage everyone to attend that one. Please do, because that'll be a great, it's with council meetings changes, everybody will be on the same page. There's a downloadable booklet that people can receive that would have been in the fraternal advisor that was just sent out. I think that was Thursday or Friday. So there was mention of that in there. Yeah, I want to thank you all very much for staying on as team leaders within our province. I want to thank you for taking the time to spend the last day and a half with us to share information, to learn information. I know nobody really expected this COVID pandemic to continue on the way it is, causing the restrictions that we have had to deal with. So I do appreciate everyone's effort to stay on, to continue marching forward during these crazy times. So like I know no one had thought at any point early in this pandemic, like Saskatchewan, Manitoba was kind of in its own little bubble. And as we look to our neighbors on either side, a lot of the communities they're code red. They're damn near shutting down, and Saskatchewan has been very, I don't know if it's fortunate. We haven't quite, or if we're just behind on the times, but I'm grateful that people have realized we have to take precautions, not just for ourselves, but for our families and for our neighbors and our communities. So thank you very much for your patience, for your understanding. On behalf of my wife Tracy and I and my family, I want to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas, blessed Advent, and hopefully Happy New Year. On behalf of the State Board, our Supreme Knight, I echo the same sentiments. So thank you very much. And Viva Jesus. So I'll before we close the meeting, I know Father Ed or Bishop Brian could not join us. I would ask our state faith director, just pardon me for one moment here. I want to make sure I bring up the right. Why does that? There we go. I'll ask our faith director, Brother Paul Ponak, to lead us in the prayer for the canonization of the Blessed Michael McGivney. Brother Paul.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. God our Father, protector of the poor and defender of the widow and orphan, you called your priest, Blessed Michael McGivney, to be an apostle of Christian family life and to lead the young to the generous service of their neighbor. Through the example of his life and virtue, may we follow your Son, Jesus Christ, more closely, fulfilling his commandment of charity and building up his body, which is the church. Let the inspiration of your servant prompt us to greater confidence in your love, so that we may continue his work of caring for the needy and the outcast. We humbly ask that you glorify Blessed Michael McGivney on earth, according to the design of your holy will. Through his intercession, grant the favor I now present. Through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you very much, Brother Paul. Thank you all again for spending this day and a half with us. It's your company and seeing faces is it's while I love to have been rubbing elbows and shaking hands, this is the next best thing we can do, and bumping elbows, here we go. And I appreciate your time and your commitment and dedication to the Knights of Columbus. So thank you very much, and hopefully we see a few of you one way or another in the next few weeks. Stay safe, stay healthy, and thank you very much.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.